Next Generation Meteorologist Joe Shaka here from StormChaserJS.com, looking at the 2021 Atlantic hurricane season video outlook here. And we all know 2020 was a very active hurricane season in this part of the world. So let's take a look and see what's going to be happening possibly as we head down into 2021. So what I'm starting up here, as always, is I'm looking at my ENSO, the El Nino Southern Oscillation Index, to see where we have been in the past, whether we've been in an El Nino or La Nina or we've been neutral. And I'm going to use this chart to come up with my analog year. So the years that I've been using for this upcoming hurricane season are 1995, 2005, 2010, 2011, 2012, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. And pretty much what you can see from that chart right here is all these years that I'm analoging were La Nina or they were neutral years in the ENSO regions. And all those years produced some pretty active hurricane seasons. So those are my analog years that I have there. And again, here is Texas at 95, actually at 1998, 2005, 2010, 11, 12, 17, 18, 19, of course, the year 2020. So those are the years that have even passed, given everything that I've seen, trying to predict the future here. So take a look at SST anomalies. This chart here updates once a week. You can clearly see the La Nina that's going on here in much of the Central Pacific. A little bit of warming here as we are looking at ENSO 1.2, but pretty much the area that we're mainly focused on is ENSO 3 and ENSO 3.4, which you can see are quite cool relative to normal. And then, of course, the Atlantic Basin, as of now, is warmer than average. So where are we going from here? Again, here's the CFS forecast from ENSO, the ENSO model, the CFS in the ENSO region 1.2. You can see we're forecasted to remain cooler than normal right through the heart of the hurricane season. Barely, there's a few members that get us, right towards normal, but this is really not going to have much of an impact. And you can see where we were last year, too, for the peak of the hurricane season, and pretty much the hurricane season as a whole, we were, between, let me say, about 3/4 of a degree to 1.5 degrees Celsius. I mean, Kelvin in this case, but in Celsius, same kind of idea. Kelvin below normal, and that's where we're going to be again. Looks like going into this year, same kind of negative anomalies showing up. And so regions 1 and 2 degrees Kelvin. And Celsius, same kind of thing. It was cooler than normal. And so region 3, you can see same kind of thing. Roughly about 1 degree Kelvin, 1/2 degree, 3/4 degree Kelvin, and same kind of thing. If not actually getting a little bit more colder in ENSO 3, which is interesting. You can see as we get towards the peak of the season, again, we're around 1K. And even some members getting close to 1.5, even 2K, but very few of them, only 2 of them, bring us up to neutral. So this is a strong signal for the La Nina to be continuing right through the peak of the hurricane season. And that's the same thing here in ENSO region 3.4, which is pretty much the bigger driver for Atlantic tropical development. And you can see same kind of thing. You look at we were last year we were between 1/2 degree Kelvin to pretty much 1 degree, and we're going to be pretty much in the same area going into the peak of this hurricane season, if not a little bit colder than we were last year in ENSO 3.4. And then finally, ENSO region 4, same kind of thing. We're going to come up as we head into the spring, but then by the time we get to the peak of the season, we'll be pretty much where we were last year, again, if not a little bit cooler. So that's a very, very strong signal for an active hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. Now, if we take a look here at the European season, this is El Nino region 3.4. Now, this is the SST anomaly, as you can see as we go along here. It thinks it's going to warm up just a little bit, but this only goes out through July and early August. But you can see, again, many of the members keeping it at or below normal, and I like the cooler members given, again, what we're seeing from the Canadian SIPS model and the CFS version model. So you can see what that looks like there. And again, because this is also a bigger data plot, there are more members, so there's more possibilities. But again, you can see the majority of the members are at or below normal as we head into the upcoming hurricane season. Now, take a look at the Canadian SIPS upward motion pattern. This is a very, very favorable pattern. This covers June, July, and August. You can see the upward motion here over the Indian Ocean and over East Africa, and sinking motion over the East and Central Pacific. There's a little bit of sinking in the Western Atlantic, but that's not going to really matter as much because the vigorous waves come off. They're developing, so this is not like centered over the eastern Atlantic or the continent of Africa, so this does favor tropical development. This is actually what we saw last year too, so this is not too concerning, hindrance of tropical development. And as we head into the peak of the season, you can see how it kind of like backs off a little bit. You still have very strong upward motion over the Indian Ocean and in through parts of East Africa as well. So this is a very, very favorable upward motion pattern for tropical systems to develop. And again, this is a 3-month mean. This is not looking at, a week or two within any given month. So of course, when you get closer in, within a week or two, you can have some very strong upward motion or even downward motion patterns, in various parts of the globe. But again, this gives us a broad brush of what most likely, if you were to take all the weekly and daily upward motion analysis and you average them over, a 3-month period, you'd come up with a mean roughly like this. But this overall does favor an active hurricane season in this part of the world. Sea surface temperatures, again, you can see the La Nina holding on nicely in through there, June through August. The Atlantic Basin, quite warm, especially here in the subtropics. And again, August through October, same kind of deal. The La Nina holding itself on in ENSO 3 and 4. And you can see the warm Atlantic Basin. European seasonal for June, July, and August, same kind of deal. You can see the La Nina here and the warm Atlantic Basin. Precipitation, you can see the speckles of where it's above normal, and you can see some at or below normal here in ENSO region. That's pretty typical when you have a La Nina going on and some freckles of above average precipitation on parts of the U.S. coast. But again, don't look at these maps and say that's exactly where it's going to be occurring. It just gives us an overall idea of, okay, there will be some wetter than average conditions here in the tropical Atlantic and then again along the U.S. coast. But these locations are not to be exact, but it gives us an overall idea that we will see active precipitation tracks across mainly the MDR. And then briefly, with all that data looked at, a couple other things that I can't show for proprietary reasons is this. And there's other data products that I also have in stock here. So anyway, with all that given and a quick summary, I think this is a pretty good starting point. 23 to 28 named storms, an ACE of 140 to 170, 9 to 13 hurricanes, and 5 to 8 major hurricanes, Category 3 to Category 5. And this was issued again today. I made a rough draft of this back late January, early February. I don't see any reason to change this. And I'll have my next update out by early and mid-May. That's it for now, and thank you for watching.